Welcome back to the BCC studios. This is Marc Ponzio bringing you coverage of the finals from the Vermont State Crokinole Championship 2025. That was July 19th, hosted by the Lake Champlain Crokinole Club. Brian and Helen, the leaders of that club, asked me to produce this video, and I was happy to oblige. This is an NECT and I believe Tier 3 NCA event. This is the finals match between Ehren Lewis and Marc Ponzio. We'll be setting up to get going in just a moment here. You can see Ehren on the left shooting the white discs and Marc Ponzio on the right shooting the green discs. A friendly handshake, and we're off to the races here. Ehren opts to shoot first. He actually had the higher seed and could have chosen hammer, but he decided he wanted to lead. And with his 20s percentage, I don't blame him one bit. He's one heck of a shooter and has a deadly 20s percentage in any setting. Marc managed to keep up with him, though, right off the bat. I believe everyone in the background was just making a quick joke about cheering for New York, as both teams are technically New York teams. We had the upstate New York from Voorheesville and downstate New York from the city, the Brooklyn Club. Okay, here we go. So, trading a few shots. Looks like Marc left Ehren with not a lot to do. He's definitely on the right side of the hole, making it very tricky for Ehren to try and score. Ehren's trying to figure something up. I think it's kind of, that green piece is kind of in the dead man zone where there's not really a clear line on anything. But Ehren has got a good eye for the lines and the angles in this game, and he's trying to figure out what he wants to do with it. Let's see how he takes care of this shot. He always takes a minute to consider every shot. He's very, very purposeful in this game. And he managed it. Wow, what a shot. He managed to clear and get the 20 off of an unlikely shot. It just worked out really well. I believe we're going to see that one again in the highlights. We'll go over that one again. Got some more 20s race going on. At this point, Marc is keeping up. Ehren has the lead, but they're tied in the 20s. There we go. Ehren gets another one, 5-4. Marc keeps up, 5-5. All right, let's see what Ehren does with this one. He gets it, 6-5. Marc lands his next one, so now we're down to one-piece game. Ehren goes a little long. Marc just needs a hit and stick to win, and he gets that. First round goes to Marc. This is a race to 9. It's going right along here. Okay, so Marc gets his first 20 on the second round where Marc leads. Ehren's shooting for the hole, comes up a little short. Marc does a clear and makes an attempt to just sort of roll off to the side, although he does leave himself in sort of an angleable shot. Ehren takes good advantage of that, but Marc destroys that good effort by just sinking a 20 and setting everyone back up to a point where Green's in the lead here. Ehren tries to angle. He goes a little hard and bounces through the hole. Looks like Marc was considering a follow-through there, but ended up just sort of hitting and sticking. This position looks eerily similar to that incredible shot Ehren made last round, but Ehren takes it from a completely different spot. I think he's going through that right lane there, and as such, sort of just bounces off a peg and didn't accomplish much. Looks like Marc's setting up to shave the left side of that disc and just drop it in. He does that, but he gets an unfortunate bounce off a peg, leaving Ehren set up for a 20. Marc is up 2 20s in the cup, 3-1. Ehren misses the drain. He gets the clear, but misses the 20, and that leaves him in kind of a rough spot. We're getting down to the point where the math and the number of shots makes a difference. It is still possible for Ehren to catch up and possibly win, but it's getting close with the two-point lead Marc has. Ehren missed maybe a follow-through there. Looked like he was going to try and roll in, but didn't quite get it. Marc gets a nice clear in 20, and now it's impossible for Ehren to come back this round. Ehren comes up a little short. Marc does a quick clear, and Ehren's essentially shooting blind at this point. Okay, he still puts in a good effort, but ultimately Marc takes the second round as well. Now it's in the overall match score, 4-0 Marc to Ehren. Ehren leads us off with a 20. Let's see what Marc can do. He follows up with a 20. It's been a pretty good point-to-point shot and answer in this game so far. Ehren scores his second. Marc scores his second. Ehren misses the third one. Looks like Marc's set up for a follow-through, and he doesn't quite get the line. The power looked right, but the line was off to the right side just a bit. Ehren's going to try and come in from the side. Gets the 20 and pushes Marc's piece away. Marc can catch up pretty well right here. He does. Scores even in the 20s cup. Ehren has a little line in from the inside edge of that green piece. He just doesn't get it to drop. Marc clears and rolls in. I don't know that he was trying to do that. That was sort of not the best position for Marc to stay in. Since Marc has the hammer, he probably would have been better off leaving one piece out in the 10 or the 5 and one piece in the center. That way he has a chance to score 25 points, by leaving pieces around the board at the end if needed, even if Ehren was able to get to 20. Instead, Ehren does this. He's looking at both pieces and he's saying, I think I can get a double takeout, maybe even a double takeout 20 here, which would put Marc in a really bad spot. And Ehren does a beautiful double takeout, but doesn't quite get the 20. Marc gets a follow through 20, making it really, really tough for Ehren. Now he's got some pressure on. He's got to sink a few 20s and can't make a lot of mistakes here. Marc has 2 shots to Ehren's 1. Marc gets the 20. Now he's up 5-4. At this point, it's almost certainly Marc's game. Ehren matches the score. The cup is even. Marc just needs a valid shot. There we go. Overall score 6-0 to Marc. Marc leads this off. Comes up a little short. Probably a fairly decent defensive position, although we've seen Ehren make some incredible 20s out of this game. Ehren's trying to back it up towards the hole. Marc tries to follow through and ends up just sitting right on the edge, leaving him with a heavy hanger. Let's see if Ehren can make this one hurt for Marc. He comes off a little to the side and doesn't get the 20 on that. Marc sets up off the side, manages a heavy hanger with a conversion, which is nice. Ehren's going for an open 20, and he sinks it. There's very few times in this match where Ehren goes for an open 20 and doesn't sink it. Marc goes a little long, not ideal, but the score is even, but Ehren has the hammer advantage in this round. Ehren comes up a little short. I think Marc's setting up to the right, trying to drop back. It is about the biggest distance you can drop back and kind of get a piece in. Marc just sort of ends up with a clear and a stick. Ehren's just pulling back to his side. Now it's not possible to do a drawback. I don't think Marc intended to clear the board there, but it does give Ehren the advantage. Again, sets up for a 20, gets it. Ehren's up 2-1. Marc uncharacteristically misses an open 20 again, so he's had a bad run of 20s in this round. Ehren does a clear, but at this point, there's almost nothing Marc can do. Even a 20 with a takeout is not going to do it. But Marc misses the 20 anyway. Ehren's won already, and that's that. Yeah, I think Ehren realizes it there, and the round's over, 6-2. Marc's still in the lead. Okay, starting up for the next one. Ehren's going to lead us off, and he lands one. Response is 1 from Marc. Back to Ehren. 2-1, white to green. Ties it up. In a brief little 20s race here. Let's see what Ehren's got on the third one, and he goes a little long. Marc goes for the follow-through and gets it, giving himself a nice little advantage in the shot order there. Ehren comes up short, leaving Marc a backboard. Marc doesn't take advantage of it, but leaves a fairly heavy off-center hanger, which is always a little tricky. Let's see if Ehren can take advantage of this one. Ehren rolls off the board, leaving Marc with a long shot. Marc wants to stay on the board here, so that's a little tricky, but he manages to keep on the board. Ehren's looking for one heck of a roll-in from the 5. He's going to see if he can get the 20 all the way out from the hinterlands there, and he just barely misses it. And that was about a really excellent chance. I mean, that's as close as you can get from that without actually scoring. He just bounced right through. Marc sets up for a follow-through and scores it. Now it's getting tricky because it's almost impossible for Ehren to win. In fact, it is impossible for Ehren to win. It would be a tie at the best. And if Marc sinks another 20, it will be impossible. All right, Marc's just won the round. At best, Ehren can do is 4-5, 4-6 at this point. Marc's going to get the last shot, but at this point, he's already won the round, and it's now 2-8 in this race to 9. Marc has the advantage. All right, Marc leads us off. And it's a 20. And a 20s race. There we go. 1-1. Marc comes up short, leaving a pristine backboard for Ehren. Terrible position to fail, short like that. Ehren's ahead. At this point, all Marc needs is a tie to win the match. Ehren holds on to his advantage nicely. Marc's keeping up, but he's a shot behind, a full shot behind. Ehren's staying ahead nicely. Marc comes up short. 4-3 Ehren at this time. Ehren's just trying to make sure he doesn't leave anything for Marc to work with. Probably the better shot for Marc would have been to drop to that left side, but he sort of shot through the center lane, and he didn't end up doing real well as he bounced a peg. Ehren just puts another nail in the coffin, pulls his advantage ahead. At this point, it's just barely still possible for Marc to win, but now it's not. All right, 6-5. There's nothing Marc can do. Ehren gets the last shot, but it's completely inconsequential. And Ehren takes that round. It's now 8-4. Still Marc in the lead. Still on the wire. Marc only needs 1 point to take this match. Or take the whole game, excuse me. 1-1 in the 20s Cup. Ehren shooting straight. Marc following suit. No misses, no errors yet. Okay, 3-3 in this 20s race. Ehren goes a little long. Marc had a chance for a follow-through, but he ended up coming up short, leaving Ehren with a nice backboard there. Ehren takes advantage of it, but isn't able to clear it off the board, which could be a problem later. Marc overshoots his 20 chance, and ultimately he still has a chance to take it, though, because he has pieces on the board. Ehren's going to try for a double here. He needs to clear some of those pieces off to ensure that his advantage stays. Marc does have the hammer advantage. Looks like Ehren lined up a shot, but it was too straight and left one of Marc's pieces on the board in the background there in the 5. Marc's getting into a spot here, though, because Ehren's worked the play out to the 10 and put it behind a few pegs, so it's a little tricky for Marc to get into the house. Marc's moving in the right direction with that shot, but it wasn't quite enough. Let's see what Ehren gets on this. Ehren manages a beautiful rollaway that was sort of against it was unlikely because he had a lot of pegs and a funny bounce to work with. Marc wasn't able to roll back into the house. Had he rolled into the house, that would have been a tie, and Marc would have won the match. Now it's 6-8. Ehren's managing to catch up a little bit. Marc's still in the lead, however. Marc opens strong with a 20. 7 more, and he wins the match. Ehren follows up nicely, 1-1. 2-1 Marc. And Ehren shoots a little long. Marc doesn't do a follow-through, but instead rolls out to the side and parks himself between the pegs in a really nice spot. Not likely to score for Ehren in that spot. Ehren's trying to go through the house, and he does manage a clear, stays in the house, but Marc is playing defensively and does not need to score extra 20s at this point. All he needs to do is either tie or win the round. He has the advantage. He does not have the hammer, but he's up in the cup by 1. So Marc's in a good position at this point in time. Ehren tried a little cheeky bounce off 2 pegs and got real close, but didn't quite pull it through. Marc followed through to try and get away from the hole, but didn't really give himself a ton of space. There's still a line in there for a 20, like kind of a touch 20. Ehren finds it with the clear. Beautiful shot. Clutch, too. Had to happen. Marc manages a 20 there. He still has the advantage. Essentially, if Ehren gets this 20, it's just a race, and we're perfectly tied in the cup, perfectly tied in the number of shots. Looks like Marc goes long. And now Ehren has to get a follow-through 20 to ensure that Marc's in a bad spot and Marc's going to lose the round. Let's see what he can do with this. He manages to leave himself in a really rough spot. A nice little backboard for Marc. Marc manages to clear and the 20 ensuring the win at that moment. The best Ehren can do is tie, and a tie is a loss. And Ehren knows it. You can see him popping in there to give himself some grief for that. And there you have it. Marc wins the match and the round. Let's take a look at some of the highlight shots over the match. Starting with, looks like that sneaky little shot that Ehren did early on. We can see exactly what happens in slow-mo here. Looks like Ehren bounced the green piece off a peg, and it comes back and helps seat that white one in the hole. Quite an interesting shot. Managed to 20, managed to clear. It was beautiful. Okay, Ehren's going for a little angle in here. That was a great shot as well. Let's see what happens here. Oh, I believe this was his double takeout, and he almost followed through for a 20. It was a really beautiful shot. Cleared the board, put him in good position. And then moving right along to the next shot, Marc made a follow-through. I think we have some more of Marc shots coming up here. Let's see. This looks like another setup for a follow-through. And there it is. And the last is another follow-through from the right lane. Dropping to the right side. Marc makes maybe a 2-inch follow-through there. Great shooting on both sides. It was a wonderful match. I'd just like to take a moment to say thank you to the Lake Champlain Crokinole Club. You guys were excellent hosts. You ran a wonderful event, and I just can't wait to come back next year. I had a great time. Thank you so much for all your efforts and promoting our great game here. There is a second part to the finals coming up next.